Welcome back to our Arsenal transfer news update. Benjamin Sesko, what is going on with this guy? The saga keeps continuing, guys. He's still yet to make his decision on what he wants to do. I'm going to give you all the news today. Let's go.
Welcome back, guys, to another Arsenal transfer news show.
Declan Rice has officially signed for Arsenal.
Players in before the start of the season, if this deal gets done before the start.
So, what is happening with Benjamin Sesko and Arsenal? Well, so many different reports coming out. Of course, we had originally from John Cross, who writes to the Mirror, as we know, saying that he said yes to joining Arsenal. He wants to come to Arsenal. But then we have other journalists, very reliable journalists, Fabrizio Romano, as we know, coming out and saying that, yesterday, that yes, there is general interest. Arsenal are very interested in him. Chelsea very interested. Manchester United are very interested in this player. He's a big name going around Europe, but he's still yet to make his decision. He still doesn't know what he wants to do for himself as of yet. He's not agreed anything yet. But there is genuine interest in that. And today we've got Team News and Ticks speaking today on Charles Watch YouTube channel saying no one is going to activate the release clause unless they know he's told them he's going to sign for them. So it's pretty much down to the player. It's highly likely that only one club will activate the release clause if he is to leave. We may hear news of what he's decided soon, but I wouldn't expect anything completed until July. This coming, as I said, from Team News and Ticks, a very reliable source there speaking on Charles Watch channel. And it's very interesting because your guess is as good as mine, guys, on what this Sesko wants to do. We don't know him personally, so we don't know what he's going to do. We can think logically and we can sit here and say, okay, think about it. It's a Premier League calling for you. We all know about the Premier League, massive league, one of the biggest leagues watch leagues in Europe, in the world. Arsenal calling for you. Massive football club, as we know. Yeah, massive football club. The attraction to Arsenal we're massive, right? Chelsea, and another club in London, being successful in the past decade or so in winning trophies. However, the situation where they're at now is not good. Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in England, right? But again, situation right now is not looking good for them as well. Arsenal seem to be the more attractive destination for Sesko. That's you're thinking logically, yeah. I just hit my mic. Apologies. That's even thinking logically, yeah. But he may even sit here and say, you know what? I want to stay with Leipzig for one more season. I want to develop my career and have another year in Bundesliga playing for RB Leipzig. Because this guy, if you remember, start of the season for Leipzig, was on the bench for 6 months. Week in, week out, was on the bench because you had Lewis Openda playing over him. And it's only after the second half of the season where he actually started getting week in, week out game time. And he was scoring goals. I think he scored 14 goals towards the end of the season or something like that. He scored in his last 7 games in every single game. So he's on some great bit of form towards the end of the season. Similar to what Erling Haaland did at Dortmund. He's at Dortmund for 3-4 years? 3-4 seasons before he moved to Man City? Obviously, I know he's at Salzburg and he looked good there. Then he moved to Dortmund. I think he scored like 13 goals in his first season. Then in the next 2 seasons, just completely ripped it apart. So I'm not comparing them as a player, by the way. I'm not saying this guy's the next Erling Haaland because he's obviously not. I'm just saying maybe he'll follow a similar path to what Haaland did. When he was at Dortmund, he was there for like 3 seasons, and then then obviously he was buying goals for fun, and he got his move to Man City in the end. So maybe he can do that. You got to remember as well, he's still 21 years of age. He's still got that potential. And that's what worries me in terms of if we sign him now, to be honest, because again, I don't know, it's how you look at it really, because part of me saying get him now because, he could be the next big thing. But then the other half is saying it's a risk because he's so unproven for me. He's still got a lot to prove as a player. Doesn't mean he's a bad player. Doesn't mean I don't like the player. I said it in my last video. I'd prefer someone right now to come in and hit the ground running with Arsenal. Someone who's doing it now. Someone who's a Premier League or around Europe, scoring goals for fun, doing it now. There's many names out there. Yeah, I know they're expensive. I get the price tag of all that, but I'd prefer that. I would prefer Arsenal to splash money on a proven striker who come in, and that's what we're lacking anyway. Yeah, he's a clinical, prolific goal scorer in front of goal. All right, we're seeing it so many occasions. We said it so many times last season. We need a clinical goal scorer. This guy looks good. look, he looks decent, man. Yeah, he shows some good signs. I think he's a good player. But that's what drives me is like the guy is still very young. He's still got yes, he has potential, but he's still unproven, if that makes sense. And I feel, if we people say you have the argument, if you don't get him now, he'll go and thrive in the Bundesliga next season or whatever if he stays there, or if he goes to another club, and then we may regret it. Is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, right? I understand it, people. Yeah, when people say they like the look of this guy, they think we should sign him because, again, he has a release clause, reasonably cheap as well. It'll be much more cheaper than going and getting Isak for 100 million plus. Ollie Watkins, you wanted to, it'd be very hard to get him from Villa. Osimhen would be 110 million. I do totally understand that there. But my only worry with this deal really is, as I said, I think the guy's still got a lot to prove. And it's coming over to the Premier League as well. How we, adjust to that. It's always a risk, isn't it? So, it's a very interesting saga, man. We know there's two other clubs heavily interested in him. Chelsea and, Man United are heavily interested as well. So are we, but it just seems, as Team News and Tick says here, I think he said only one club. Yeah, he said, what's this? So yeah, it's highly likely that only one club will activate the release clause if he is set to leave. So we have to obviously wait and see what happens. And he said, of course, we may hear what he decides soon. So I think the report saying that he's going to make his decision before the Euros may be very, very reliable, maybe very true. And we're going to find out what he wants to do. But as I said, this guy could sit here and, your guess is as good as mine. This guy could sit here and say, oh, actually, I want to stay at Leipzig for one more season. And then, what happens there? Do we go and, well, we're going to have to move on. We have to go and look for someone else. We're going to have to go and look for another option out there. But if he sits there and says, I want to come to Arsenal, which John Cross from the Mirror said, he said yes to Arsenal. This is what John Cross has said from the Mirror, how reliable he is. We're going to find out how reliable he is after this whole situation. So, yes, as I said, it's a very interesting saga, guys. Love to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think will happen with this guy? Do you think he will sign for Arsenal, or do you see him staying at RB Leipzig? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens, guys. But that's the news right there on Benjamin Sesko. It seems to be changing every single day. This is what happens in transfer rumors, man. This is what happens in the transfer window. So, yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on Benjamin Sesko as well as a player. Do you think he's the guy to Arsenal? Do you think this guy elevates us to the league title next season? Because that is only what we need. We need players to elevate us to win the league title. And if he doesn't elevate us, then we need to go and get someone else. So it's as simple as that, guys. Thank you everyone who watched this video. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe for daily Arsenal updates, and I'll see you in my next one.